I use she, her pronouns, and I'd like to welcome you to Bucksmont Unitarian Universalist Fellowship and our multi-platform worship where, moved by love, we share lifelong journeys of growth, wonder, and healing, nurturing wholeness in society and spirit, creating a community of justice and compassion. I'd like to give a welcome to everyone joining us online and in person. Today, members, friends, and those who may be newcomers are very welcome. As we begin our service, please take a moment to silence your phones. If you are new to Bucksmont and visiting us in person today, please stop by our visitor center in the front hallway near where you came in. There you can also make a name tag for yourself and find out more information about Bucksmont, Unitarian Universalism, and upcoming events. If you'd like a hymnal or a printed order of service, those are available near the entrance to the sanctuary. If you are visiting us online or prefer digital methods, please email our office administrator, Beverly, to sign up for our email newsletter and to get connected to our congregation. You may also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Bucksmont UU. Each week in our service, we offer time for people to share a joy or sorrow from their lives by texting a phone number. That number is shared on screen for everyone now and will be again later in the service. If you would like to see the order of service, details about upcoming events, and other ways to gather within our community, you can find that on our homepage, bucksmontuu.org. There's a lot happening at Bucksmont, and we'd like to highlight these announcements in particular. Get ready to dance. Please join the music committee on Saturday, March 30th for an evening of music, food, and fun. We will be celebrating the music of our own fabulous in-house rock band, Creedence Creekwater Revival.
Creedence. Is it Creedence?
Oh, it says Creedence in the... You know what? You're right, it is Creedless, and I know that. Along with special guest band, Fools and Prophets. And I'm going to be there, so I hope to see you there. We need lots of people to have fun. See the e-voice for more details. Reminder, today is the last day to sign up for the April 6th Circle Dinner. If you would like to meet more people in a casual setting with great food and scintillating conversation, you can sign up in the social hall after the service. There is a lot happening in RE. Join us tonight at 5 p.m. for a game and movie night. And again on Tuesday at 6 p.m. for an interactive workshop given by NOVA to help parents learn about healthy sexual development, how to talk to their kids about sexual abuse, and how to keep them safe. You can invite friends and family to this as well. Please see the e-voice for more details. R2-D2 always saves a day for his Star Wars friends, and so should you. The date, that is, this year's auction, will be held on Saturday, May 4th. Look for Darth Vader over in the corner of the social hall for a donation form. Yes, a donation form. You can bring your items to the library starting on March 31st. All donation forms, whether online or in person, must be in by April 14th. To be included in the catalog. Don't delay. See Friday's e-voice for more information. Whether you are a guest, friend, or member, we are glad that you are part of our worship service.
As we gather in our sanctuary, in our homes, or watch from mobile screens almost anywhere, we are all together. Those watching now on Sunday and those who may be watching months from now, we are joined together for worship across both space and time. This is a free, creedless religious congregation in the discipline of truth and the spirit of universal kinship. We join together in a cooperative quest for religious and ethical values, seeking to apply these values to the development of character, enrichment of the spirit, and service to all. You are welcome here, whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever the color of your skin or your country of origin, no matter your gender expression or gender identity, whatever your age, however you define family, wherever you are at this time, and whatever the source of your faith, you are welcome here.
This morning, as we do each time we gather, we kindle our Unitarian Universalist chalice. We do so today with words from Evan Carvel Ziemer. If we lived in another climate, our souls might speak other languages. We might speak oasis or permafrost, dry season or monsoon. But our souls speak spring. Our souls speak green shoots pushing through last year's leaves. Our souls speak flower buds stretching to sun. Our souls speak mud puddle and nest building, damp earth and worm castings, tiny green leaves and frog choruses. We speak spring because spring sings in us. We gather to nurture our faith in our own growing, our own courage to push through, our own blossoming in beauty, our own small part in the spring of this world. Come, let us worship together. Please light your chalice at home. Our common chalice is now lit.
Good morning. I'm Dina Condren, not Lynn Nugent, as indicated in your order of service. Lynn is unfortunately not feeling well today, so send her your good thoughts. Margaret has asked me to let you know, for those of you who need to know, however, that the music committee is still happening today. So please rise and bow to your spirit and join in singing our first hymn, Morning Has Broken, number 38 in the gray hymnal, or up on the screens.
Praise Okay, it's time for all ages, everyone. Come on up to the front. Thank you, Nate, for the enthusiastic response. My name is Melissa Sperringer. I'm the Director of Religious Education, and I use she, her pronouns. So today is a little bit of a different time for all ages. First, I wanted to show off the amazing piece of artwork that you all helped make. This we did a couple weeks ago. It was the intergenerational, multi-platform, multi-site. Am I missing anything? All the multis you can think of. Collaborative art project. And here it is put together. A big thank you to Nancy Taylor who helped me put it together. But I think it's beautiful. And this week we are going to exchange it with the other congregation, with TPUF. And hopefully next Sunday, we will see the creation that they are giving us. So fingers crossed that that all works out. And today's Time for All Ages is going to be a book read by somebody who is very important to RE here. Her name is Miss Carol Myers. She has been pretty sick lately, so she wasn't able to come in today to share her book with us, but she did record a video that we will watch in just a moment of her reading the book. And I have a couple copies of the book here. It's The Tale of Benjamin Bunny, by Beatrix Potter. So we can pass those around and look at the pictures too while she's reading. Okay? Cool. All right.
I'm going to read you a story about what rabbits might do in the springtime when it gets warm. One morning, a little rabbit sat on a bank. He pricked his ears and listened to the trit-trot of a pony. Mr. and Mrs. McGregor came down the road. As soon as they had passed, little Benjamin Bunny slid down onto the road and set off with a hop, skip, and jump to call upon his relations. Old Mrs. Rabbit was a widow, and she earned her living by knitting rabbit wool mittens and muffetees. Little Benjamin did not very much want to see his aunt. He came around the back of the fir tree and nearly tumbled upon the top of his cousin Peter. Peter was sitting by himself. He looked poorly and was dressed in a red cotton pocket handkerchief. "Peter," said little Benjamin in a whisper, "who has your clothes?" Peter replied, "The scarecrow in Mr. McGregor's garden," and described how he had been chased about the garden and had dropped his coat and shoes. Little Benjamin sat down beside his cousin and assured him Mr. and Mrs. McGregor would be gone for the day. They went away hand in hand and got upon the top of the wall at the bottom of the wood. From there, they looked down and could see Mr. McGregor's garden. Peter's coat and shoes were plainly to be seen upon the scarecrow. Little Benjamin Bunny said the proper way to get in is to climb down a pear tree. Peter fell down head first, but it was of no consequence. They left a great many odd little footmarks all over the bed, especially little Benjamin, who was wearing clogs. The first thing to be done was to get back Peter's clothes in order that they might be able to use the pocket handkerchief. They took them off the scarecrow. There had been rain during the night. There was water in the shoes, and the coat was somewhat shrunk. Then they suggested that they should fill the pocket handkerchief with onions as a little present for his aunt. Peter did not seem to be enjoying himself. He kept hearing noises. Benjamin, on the other hand, was perfectly at home and ate a lettuce leaf. He said that he was in the habit of coming to the garden with his father to get lettuces for their Sunday dinner. Peter did not eat anything. He said he should like to go home, and presently he dropped half the onions. Little Benjamin said that it was not possible to get back up the pear tree with a load of vegetables. He led the way boldly towards the other end of the garden. Presently Peter let the pocket handkerchief go again. Peter heard noises worse than ever, and his eyes were as big as lollipops. This is what those little rabbits saw around the corner. The cat got up and stretched herself and came and sniffed at the basket. She sat down on top of it. She sat there for 5 hours. At length there was a pitter, pitter, patter, pitter, patter, and some bits of mortar fell from the wall above. The cat looked up and saw Mr. Benjamin Bunny prancing along the top of the wall of the upper terrace. Old Mr. Bunny had no opinion whatever of cats. He took a tremendous jump off the top of the wall on the top of the cat and cuffed it off the basket. When old Mr. Bunny had driven the cat into the greenhouse, he locked the door. Then he took out the handkerchief of onions and marched out of the garden. When Mr. McGregor returned about half hour later, he observed several things which perplexed him. It looked as though some person had been walking all over the garden in a pair of clogs. Only the footmarks were too ridiculously little. When Peter got home, his mother forgave him because she was so glad to see that he had found his shoes and coat. Cottontail and Peter folded up the pocket handkerchief, and old Mrs. Rabbit strung up the onions and hung them from the kitchen ceiling with the bunches of herbs and the rabbit tobacco. The end.
Thank you, Miss Carol. That was wonderful. What did you guys think? Did she do a great job? Yeah, that's great. All right, we're going to head downstairs for some more fun. Thank you.
As you go on your way, may you be filled with gladness. Go enjoy, go enjoy. May fortune bless your day with peace and loving kindness. Go in love, go in love. As you go on your way, may you be filled with gladness. Go enjoy, go enjoy. May fortune bless your day with peace and loving kindness. Go in love, go in love.
The offering in liberal religion is a vital part of our history of faith. As a covenanted community, people who freely choose to be here, our voluntary giving is symbolic of that freedom of choice. Each week at Bucksmont, we share our offering with a different cause or organization in the community. For the month of March, we are sharing with Hands Holding Hearts. Hands Holding Hearts is a nonprofit, community-based bereavement resource supporting children and families through their grief. Their mission is to guide and support grieving families, educate about loss, and provide a support network for those they serve. Hands Holding Hearts educates the community by offering consultations on grief-related matters to businesses, schools, churches, and organizations by addressing the systemic impacts of loss. The clinicians of Hands Holding Hearts provide individualized grief counseling for families and individuals encountering death and end-of-life issues. They serve clients starting at 3 years old through older adults. Support groups are also offered. We ask that you participate in our morning offering in one of these ways. You can write out a check to Bucksmont and mail it into the fellowship. You may donate online now or at the end of the worship service, or you may pass your donation into one of the baskets as they are passed. We will now receive the morning offering. Our community continues to grow and thrive due to generous donations of both time and money. For the many ways that you contribute and how it sustains this fellowship, we are truly grateful. This morning's reading is Out of Season by Judith Campbell. A flash of purple out of season, a clutch of tiny crocuses, caught in rhyme without a reason, but my need to mark their time. Pushing back out of dark security, excuse me, bent and curled against the cold, untimely beauty, here and gone, their too short story told. Just days ago, too warm for winter, seemed far more like May, so crocuses, who do not heed our ordered Roman plan of day and week, responded only as they can and grew. Today, the tiny purple masses quiver, shiver in a cruel, still winter wind, in sunshine false and cold as charity. And then I see with perfect clarity this flash of purple out of season, caught in rhyme without a reason other than their need to be, is a parable that's meant for me. That beauty really is its own reward, that best laid plans with charted graphs and demarcations, foolish, bold prognostications, hold nothing of the mystery I see within the flower out of season, or so I thought. Until I thought, for everything, there really is a reason.
This past week, with the vernal or spring equinox, spring arrived at long last. And this year, the timing of the equinox and Easter are close together, too. Over the past several months, I've been exploring the 8 modern pagan holidays that occur throughout the Wheel of the Year. We've touched on Samhain, also known as Halloween in October, Yule, or the winter solstice, in December, and Imbolc, or Candlemas, or Groundhog Day, in February. Imbolc is when we marked the earliest glimmers of new life and the hope that true spring would soon arrive. Today we get to the real deal, a few days late, Ostara and the spring equinox, which happen right around March 20th and mean that spring is here. She made the journey, and so did we. Like the other holidays along the Wheel of the Year, Ostara is mixed together from a number of different cultures over time. Just as many of our modern holidays have picked up influences, so have Ostara and Easter. But what remains true is that an equinox is a major moment on the calendar the world over. Whether you are marking spring at this time of year in the northern hemisphere or fall in the southern hemisphere, this was a moment that people around the world could calculate for tens of thousands of years and use that date as a holiday, but also as important information for agriculture and the raising of animals. Spring is when the world restarts the growing process. In our part of the world, spring rains arrive, and we see plants moving quickly from dormancy to blossoming. Temperatures vacillate between the last moments of winter and the earliest signals of summer. Depending on where you are exactly in the northern hemisphere, it is time to gather what is needed for planting. Some may have already planted starters inside homes or greenhouses. While it is too early yet to plant tomatoes, some plants prefer to start in the colder beginnings of springtime, near the end of March or the very beginning of April. Things like spinach, lettuce, potatoes, radishes, peas, carrots, broccoli, and onions like our bunny friends were gathering in our story. Many of the deities worshipped at springtime carry the qualities of fertility and new life as well. The Greek goddess Persephone is one example. She was abducted by Hades, the god of the underworld, which left her bereft mother, the goddess Demeter, to neglect crops, leading to a crisis for humanity. A deal was brokered that would allow Persephone to return to the surface each spring for 6 months, which ushered in the return of new life to the land. The flowers were made to bloom by Demeter to welcome her daughter's return each year. And there is, of course, one of the oldest of the Greek goddesses, Gaia, the Mother Earth herself, who reawakens each spring to give birth to new life. And of course, there is also the Germanic goddess, whose name is associated with another spring holiday, Easter, and the direction of the rising sun, the east. Her name is Jauster, and she is a goddess of the dawn, new light, and new life. There is little known about her, with the first written evidence of her being in the 8th century through springtime feasts and celebrations. Though there is a modern story that is part of Jauster's returned fame. One day in the winter, the goddess found a poor, helpless, injured bird that was dying. In order to save the bird's life, she turned the bird into a hare. But the change didn't fully take place. While the bird now looked like a hare, it still had the ability to lay eggs. The hare decorated the eggs and then gave them to Jauster as gifts for saving her life. This story is based on a Ukrainian folktale that explains the origin of Piscani, the art of egg decorating that is popular there and in many Eastern European countries dating back to pre-Christian times. Many other deities with ties to the sun and to springtime have eggs as their symbols, not often tied to hares or rabbits, but to birds, which might make a bit more sense. Who could fly closest to the sun? So decorated eggs became a symbol that is repeated throughout the world as one tied to new life and the returning light of spring and the sun. And it is this symbol that was retained as the Christian holiday of Easter spread throughout the world. There were practices related to decorating eggs already in existence, and rather than try to end or change this tradition, the church seems to have embraced it. It was common that during the 40 days of Lent before Easter, that eggs were not consumed, which kept the egg tied to the major springtime holiday, and Easter as a time to celebrate with eating eggs in abundance. The egg became a symbol of the Trinity as well, which is one object made up of 3 distinct parts: the yolk, the egg white, and the shell. Eggs were often dyed red to symbolize the resurrection of Jesus. And it was German Lutherans who seem to have popularized the traditions, recognizing the Easter hare, who became the judge of whether children were naughty or nice, like another holiday figure. This bunny would keep a list, and the good children would be rewarded with a basket containing colored eggs, candy, and small toys. The Easter hare is first mentioned in 1682 as bringing eggs to children on Easter morning. It is thought that Protestant German immigrants, known as the Pennsylvania Dutch, were among the first to bring the Easter bunny to the United States. You may remember last month, or not, when we explored Imbolc, that it was also the Pennsylvania Dutch that brought us the practice of asking small mammals about the weather, first with badgers in their native homeland, and then a groundhog when they arrived on these shores. For some reason I'm not entirely clear on, those German Protestants loved small mammals that could do amazing things in the realm of meteorology, procreation, and giving gifts. And their stories seem to be winning stories for our modern imaginations because they are still so popular today, not just where the Protestant Germans found themselves, but the world over. And now what I'm going to do is invite you all to share one memory of the Easter Bunny that you have from your childhood or the childhood of others in your life with one other person. So we're going to pair up and you're going to share but one of, I'm sure, many memories of the Easter Bunny. What we'll do is Margaret will ring the bell to begin us, and I'll give a couple of minutes for that one person to share. Then Margaret will ring the bell again, the other person will share, and Margaret will ring the bell a third or maybe fourth time to draw us back together. So find a partner, and Margaret will ring the bell to begin our time of sharing.
How about you?
Yeah, let me just look at the time. Okay, so let's give it. Yes.
Oh, did you?
I was thinking of that as I was writing this. And that's the part that your kids remember most, too, which is the part that, yeah. If I'd had more time, I would have asked to share that in my sermon, but I didn't have time when I was writing last night. So I was like, I'll just let it go. But that memory was one that,
Did you have that memory?
No. She shared this first.
I'm like, this is something I've never heard of.
It's folk traditions, right? That's how we start. You start them in a household and you tell people and they spread. Yeah.
And then somebody said that we were having that conversation. Who was it? That said something about who they had another experience.
It might have been Melissa. Yeah.
How about you? Did you find a basket?
Yeah, I'm thinking more back to my childhood.
Yeah.
juice, right?
Say you like it because my son doesn't like brown.
Yeah, I kind of like the white juice, but Easter's like my favorite holiday because there's not much to do. Like, you just buy candy, boil some eggs, have a meal. And it's spring.
Out the eggs and hang them in the freezer outside of my
Oh, like just the shells?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How about you?
Like another minute. We did the whole basket thing and stuff like that, but my mom wasn't big on holiday traditions. We did the basket, we got the candy, and we're like, we did it. Check. We're done.
Did you do the Easter egg hunt too?
We did it at my dad's house. My dad was very into that.
Yeah. Maybe you should do the Easter egg hunt.
No, most of the time not.
thing about my childhood is like you got your fancy spring outfits. We did like gloves and hats and dresses
Right.
Oh yeah, back then.
and patent leather shoes.
That's fallen away. I miss that.
So I loved it. I made my kids dress up. We went to church.
Yeah. So do you want to ring and I'll announce that? All right, and if you haven't switched, if one of you is telling a miraculously long story, switch to the other person and share. Or if you already have switched, feel free to share another memory.
Is it okay if my son brings my grandchildren for the hunt next week? Easter egg hunt? Because Alyssa will be singing in the hunt. She's the cantor for St. Catherine of Siena. So she'll be singing. Yeah, she's a very good singer.
Why don't you come sing for us?
Yeah, we would love to have her.
Well, she
play
sings
sometime.
sacred music.
Yeah,
You can sing sacred music.
yeah, we love taking
Oh yeah, I'd be happy to ask her.
His wife? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. We used to have Ruth come in every once in a while to sing.
Even just she can sing something she wants. Whatever she wants. It's gay, I'm gay.
Yeah.
Like really, the choir often is picking things. I give them choices.
Well, she's not singing every Sunday. I'm sure she can sing some.
Oh yeah, we have the choir every Sunday. Or she can come in and do the hymn reading. Does she get paid to do that?
Yeah.
I can pay her.
Really? Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Margaret's always working.
Yeah. Always recruiting. I'll send
So let's
you
give it
an
like
email.
one. We'll give it one more minute.
Tell me what the name is.
Alyssa. L-Y, as I say, great names. Email me and I'll
knows?
email you her info.
Yeah.
If I remember it.
I'll remember the email.
Let's give it one more minute here. And I think ring it like 3 times. That's like the call.
So when you guys are ready to talk, you have to remember to talk to the decorating committee because they're coming in to decorate on Saturday. So it's 6 hours.
Great. That's all the stuff. I know,
Decorating for.
for Easter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They're going to be busy.
Okay.
Is
Good.
that when we're going to move?
No, that'll happen this week. Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's wrap up that sharing. More stories to be shared during coffee hour. Here's a great topic if you're meeting somebody new for the first time. What are your memories of the Easter Bunny? Whether your stories are from a year ago or decades ago, the stories of marking the beginning of spring are about joy in new beginnings, celebrating the return of life to the world and longer days, and perhaps a celebration of a little piece of magic in our day-to-day lives, along with some candy, which never hurts to keep a tradition going. How do you mark this new and returning season in your life? Or how might you mark it this year in a new way? You could see the equinox as a time to reflect on balance and returning to balance.
Perhaps you decorate eggs or the Easter Bunny visits your home. You might start something new that has been germinating for a time in your life, a new career, hobby, or passion. Or you may recognize deities with qualities tied to fertility and growth in the realm of nature or humanity. You could plant seeds indoors to get them growing in time for planting. Or your celebration might be about tasting fresh greens and returning to more time outdoors. However you welcome spring, I hope it will include noticing what is going on all around you in the natural world. Crocuses and other early flowers blooming, marking time in their own way beyond our control. Listening to our souls speak spring with mud puddles, birdsong, and greening landscapes. May spring be a time for growth in your life, renewal after the long winter months, and rejoicing in the magical moments this season brings. So may it be.
Now I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 1007 in the teal hymnal, or words up on the screen. There's a river flowing in my soul. Throw that in there.
Have it.
I ask you now to join me in prayer. And this is written by George Tiger. So let us now enter into a time of awareness within ourselves and connection beyond boundaries, connection to one another, to that interdependent web of life of which we are but one small thread. As we breathe in, we are connected. As we breathe out, we are connected. O power of springtime, spirit of green grasses and warm breezes, goddess of creativity, of birth, of life renewed, you sing all about us at this time. The birds call your sacred name, buds burst forth with your vestment. The sun reaches higher into the sky, shining the light of this new day through the windows of your cathedral, this world. O power of springtime, forgive us our speediness and our racing before your eternal grace, that we do not see the miracle world we share. Open our eyes with your warmth and our hearts with your beauty. Slow our minds with awe and wonder. Dear spirit of green grasses and warm breezes, crocuses and other early flowers blooming, marking time in their own way, listening to our souls speak spring with mud puddles, birdsong, and greening landscapes. May spring be a time for growth in your life, renewal after the long winter months, and rejoicing in the magical moments this season brings. So may it be.
The vernal equinox occurred this week, the official beginning of spring, when day and light is in balance as the light waxes into the spring and summer months. Today we mark this progression of the seasons by changing our joys and sorrows from the fire and candles of fall and winter to the water and stones of spring and summer. As part of our caring outreach to one another, we set aside a few moments to note both the sorrows and the joys in our lives. In these moments of peace and reflection, we turn our attention to one another and hold each and all in our compassionate thoughts and the prayers of our hearts. This morning, we are placing stones into water. The bowl includes some of the water we gathered as a community back in September, so it contains the love of our congregation surrounding each joy or sorrow. As we add the stones to the bowl, of water, our experiences are given weight and depth. We add a piece of our own stories to the collective waters of our community, a place that also holds the memories of those who have gone before and anticipates those who have yet to arrive. To share the joy or sorrow you would like held by our caring community, text the number that is now on screen. Please include your name along with your sharing. It is the same number no matter how you join us today, and you can add it to your contacts for future weeks. I will read them aloud, and Tracy will add a stone on your behalf. What is shared today will go out into our weekly caring notes for those who cannot be with us this morning. Please remember to include your name with what you share. We will add another stone for all of the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in our hearts. With stones gathered and remembrances shared, we honor our joys and our sorrows, those shared this morning, and the many, many more that exist beyond words. Through our time together, our relationships are deepened and our community made whole.
And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join in singing our, I think it's like closing hymn, right? Number 1067 in the Teal hymnal or up on the screen. I just want to give you a heads up, there's a lot of words in this song, so don't panic, all right? Just enjoy yourself, move if you're inclined to do so, and just have fun. Mother Earth, beloved garden, living treasure underfoot. All our days your ground are being sage and thistle, grass and root. Herbs to heal us, plants to feed us, land to till and tend and plow. With the pendant deep as midnight north, we ask you be here now. Father air, your inspiration holds together all that lives. As we breathe, our minds see clearly, leading us to love and give. Raging whirlwind, whispered breezes, violent gale and gentle cloud. With the blade as sharp as morning east, we ask you be here now. share the passion of the sun. In our hearts your warmth revives us, cooks our food and heats our homes. Flaming candle blood within us, blazing desert will to grow. With the one directing power south, we ask you be here now. Sister water ever flowing, ocean, river, pond and rain, drink we now and quench our thirst and cleanse us, we begin again. Mist and ice, a host of changes, all that courage will allow. With the cup, the holy chalice west, we ask you be here now. I'm sorry, I have no idea what key we're in. Just give me a, sorry. Go lift it up, love bless your way. Moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day.
And since we musically evoked the elements for but a moment toward the end of our service, we also bid each of the four directions, west, south, east, and north, a fond farewell. They were here but a moment, but now they are past. And at 12:30, we will have a UU and U welcoming and membership session that will occur in the library for anybody who would like to have a conversation with me and members of the membership committee about joining our fellowship. As our community departs from this service, may we remember all who came before. May we imagine all who will come after. May we honor all who are present with us here and now. In our time together, we create this community, one of promise, one of commitment, one of new growth. In our time together, may each of us become a sanctuary for all we meet on the journey. May we go together now and return again.